Rabbi Shalom Sharabi, one of the great Kabbalists of the 19th century, made Aliyah, moving to Jerusalem from Yemen. When he was a young man, he sat day and night studying Torah. A poor, devout woman, simple but good-hearted and refined in soul, was a maid in his home. She helped the rabbi's wife Hannah with the housework, and she did so willingly and lovingly. Occasionally, she prayed from the depths of her heart, thanking God for giving her the honor of serving in a holy house like this, where the Shekhinah was present. From time to time, she served Rabbi Shalom Sharabi himself. She would make him a cup of coffee, which he enjoyed, and which kept him alert as he studied Torah late at night. She would quietly bring the cup into the tzaddik, leave it at the table near him, and exit quickly and quietly so as not to disturb his holy thoughts. One night, the rabbi was sitting studying as always, when this maid opened the door and brought in 2 cups of coffee on a tray. She gently put the tray down on the table and turned to leave. But the rabbi asked her to wait and said, "Why did you bring in 2 cups today?" Trembling, with her eyes lowered in embarrassment, she haltingly explained, "I heard 2 voices in your room, and when I peeked in, I saw a very dignified guest, whose face was so glorious, it shone sitting next to you. So I decided to bring in a 2nd cup for him, but I don't know where he's gone now." Rabbi Shalom Sharabi was very moved that this maid had seen what others could not see. He stood up and said to her, "Know that you merited to see today, while awake, the one about whom it is said, 'Happy the person who sees him even in a dream.' So you are worthy to know that this was Elijah the prophet, may he be remembered for good, who regularly visits me to teach me. But I must ask you, my daughter, not to reveal this to anyone." Rabbi Shalom was anxious lest this revelation of Elijah become public. The maid was thrilled and excited by the rabbi's words, at knowing that she had merited this exalted experience. But she too was bold and said, "I'll keep this secret if the holy rabbi will please grant me my wish by promising me in writing that I be permitted to serve him in the next world too." The rabbi agreed, wrote her a note, and told her, "Guard this note well, and when your time comes, leave instructions that it be buried with you." She took the note and left. In 1871, the rabbi's Rebbetzin Chana passed away. According to the rule of the Kabbalists of the time in Jerusalem, a Torah scholar was forbidden to live without a wife. So after the mourning period, Rabbi Shalom Sharabi married the maid, this tzaddiket. But she too did not live long, and she passed away during Rabbi Shalom's lifetime. On the day of her death, men from the Holy Burial Society came to take her body for burial, but a miracle took place. Her body became so heavy that it was immovable. Confused, they went to Rabbi Shalom and asked him what to do. After pondering the situation briefly, he told them, "Certainly this tzaddiket doesn't want to leave the house without the note I gave her. So search for the note, put it in her hand, and everything will be fine." They found the note and put it in her hand. Then Rabbi Shalom Sharabi whispered something in her ear. They then lifted her with ease and carried her to the cemetery, where they buried her with great honor. She is buried in the section of the cemetery reserved for the pious, her grave being next to that of the holy Rabbi Shalom Sharabi. On her gravestone there was no writing, not even her name. This maid saw Elijah the prophet because she was spiritually elevated by her housework, just as the rabbi was elevated by his divine service of Torah study. Her pure devotion to God, expressed in her devotion to the rabbi, led to her mystical experience. Indeed, she found her service in this house where the Shekhinah dwelled so spiritually rewarding that she even wanted to serve the rabbi in the world to come. The tale ends with a somewhat surprising note that her gravestone has no name. Undoubtedly, those who saw her unmarked grave next to the grave of the great Kabbalist Rabbi Shalom Sharabi were surprised. Presumably, the lack of a name on the stone relates to her humble status as a maid. But who can know the true explanation? Her grave in Jerusalem symbolizes all those holy women whose names have been lost. This story comes from Jewish Tales of Holy Women by Yitzchak Buxbaum.